Well, it's the end of the road for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 8. We are on the reunion part 2, and we're going to end it with a bang and with some cake. Tune in right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. Doesn't the song just make you feel good? Guys, welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. This is the Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 8 panel. And we're going to be recapping the reunion part 2. Was it explosive or nah? I'm one of your hosts, DJ Richie Skye. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ Richie Skye. Also, be sure to catch me on Bravo on the season finale of Stripped on January 30th at 10 p.m.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Traci. I'm back after a long hiatus.
Yes.
But I'm back for the final round, and you can catch me on Instagram at Traci Propst.
Hey, AfterBuzzers. I'm Russell Ray. You can find me all across the internet at Russell Ray Silva or RussellRaySilva.com.
Yes, you can find him working out on his Instagram
All day, every day.
all day, every day. And Traci, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. How was your trip?
It was very long.
It was very long.
It was very long.
You were gone for
Girl,
a
I
long
thought
time.
you
I was
had
gone for
moved.
a very. Everyone did. I kept getting delayed and canceled flights and snow
Oh, that's
and
terrible.
yeah, it happened 3 times.
I
so.
feel like we're welcoming a panelist back to the View. So welcome back.
Yeah. Didn't have a baby. Wasn't gone because of that. But I'm back.
Next time. So I do want to get your thoughts since didn't have you here last week, but I still want to get your thoughts on, the aesthetics of this reunion. Like, what are your thoughts on the fashion and the set in and of itself? What are your thoughts?
I'm liking the fashion. I'm liking all the glam. All
Yeah.
the dresses are very ritzy, and that's probably my favorite part about the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's pretty slow. Watching the end of the season and then into the reunion, I mean, I guess it ended very happy, but just not as entertaining as us viewers wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thoughts.
I was kind of bored with the whole setup at first and then
Were
the
you?
color tone. But I feel like when I watched it again this time, I felt a little bit different about it. I actually liked it more.
Did you catch the fake fire, though, in the background?
Oh, no,
I
didn't.
did not.
It was an LCD fire. There was no real fire going on.
Oh my God. So sexy. I want one of those for my
So
apartment.
sexy.
So let's just dive right into this portion of the reunion, guys. So we return to part 2, and lo and behold, we have Kim D on the stage. I don't really recall in any reunion history that Kim D has actually shown up to a reunion. Am I right about that?
She has.
Yeah, I
for a
think
quick
she has.
second.
Which season?
I
Do
think
we
she,
know?
Back when Kim G was on.
So maybe
So it
this
was Kim G and Kim D. It was the same episode.
Was this season 2
Like
or
season
3?
No, like season 2.
Okay, so this is
Okay.
when
8 years
it
ago.
was just the 4 of them and Dina had left.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to get this correct because I want to just establish the fact that it's been a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And Kim D has been a major player on this show year after year. Now, if I'm correct, she wasn't in first season, was she?
No.
She was just in season. She started in season 2, right?
1.
And
All
guys,
these
what?
questions.
I don't
Well,
think
I'm,
so.
what I'm,
I don't think so.
what I want to do is I really want to establish a history and a timeline for where
With
I'm
Kim.
going with the question.
Okay.
So it's interesting, right? I promise you guys I'm going somewhere. So what I want to say is that it's interesting to me still, and I know we talked about this before, that she's never been offered the role of a cast member.
Right.
And technically, she hasn't even been offered the role as friend of the cast. Because that was Danielle's role this season.
Yeah.
Why do we think that is?
I think she might have too much shady business going on behind closed doors. It might have been offered to her, and she might have turned it down for that reason, knowing that her real life would be exposed, because all these women's lives do get exposed at a certain point, including Teresa going away, Danielle being a prostitution whore, Dolores' man leaving her 18 years ago and then getting back now together, and then everything, all the above. Nothing is off limits when you become a housewife or a friend.
Okay, great. So with that being said, now the things that there are two things, two schools of thought that I'm having right now. There's the portion that Melissa said about her going too low, you know, and hitting way below the belt. And my thought is always, well, the producers know she's going to do that, so but they keep bringing her back. Maybe is that why they're not offering her more of a real role on the show? Or is it that which you just stated, which Teresa called out tonight about her having a prostitution ring, which she didn't necessarily deny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I thought was so fascinating.
She smiled.
And then my thought was, is being a madam legal?
No.
You know, because we here on this panel have problems with legal terms. And so I'm not kidding. This is fact. We all must remember.
Right. But this is not Law and Order. We don't have to know.
But in the context of what they're saying, I just wanted to know, because since she didn't deny it, is it legal or illegal?
Right.
Can someone let us know? I want to know that, because I just want to know more about Kim D. I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah.
You know, this could be a whole new Bravo show.
If you think about it, if you go back though, Kim Zolciak had a daddy, which was Big Papa. So maybe herself, looking at herself in the mirror, she might not necessarily categorize herself as a madam, but it's definitely a similar role if you have someone that's taking care of you.
Now, see, I thought that Big Papa on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I thought that was kind of like her mate. You know, like the way she positioned him was like it was her mate.
Yeah.
But I think the way maybe the outside world looks at it, like, no, that was your sugar daddy.
Yeah.
He was married.
Now, let me say this. A sugar daddy sounds legal, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
A sugar daddy, it is legal
Yeah.
for any of you out there to have or to be a sugar daddy.
Right.
Is it legal to be a madam? Because I feel like that's a different thing.
A madam is an escort.
A madam manages.
she manages her girls. She's like a pimp, a female pimp.
So this is why I'm saying this is so fascinating to me, because this was brought to light on the show.
There's no way it's
Prostitution is legal in Nevada. So who says it can't be legal in New Jersey?
I'm telling you, all of this when it was being brought up, it just raised so many questions in my mind.
Look this up for us, please.
And I'm not even trying to be a legal expert. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Because she really didn't deny it. And you're
She
right.
didn't
If people
deny
are like,
it.
you're a drug trafficker, you'd probably say no immediately.
Right.
Even if you
it
were.
would be a hell
Popo's
no.
going to show up at your house tomorrow.
So my thought was, okay, she didn't really deny it. Melissa acted like she had heard the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then when Andy asked her, she was like, well, I mean, she made it seem like she would love to be one, but...
What am I looking up, guys? I got it.
If being a madam
is legal in New Jersey.
If being a madam is illegal in New Jersey.
Is it legal?
Is it legal? Okay, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and while he's looking that up, we'll move right on along, because that was a big part of Kim D showing up on the stage, you know, Teresa bringing out that fact, that revelation. For the rest of us, I was intrigued.
Yeah.
And she sat right there with her legs crossed, and she made that look like, don't mess with my coin.
Right, like, and it was during this scene. Now, I'm not, ladies and your nails, I really, they are what they are, but I noticed that the camera kept giving us very good close-up of Teresa's nails for all of those who were interested.
Oh, really?
Did you? Yeah,
I didn't
it was
even
like
notice that.
every time I looked at the camera, her hand was reaching inward to point at Kim D. I noticed a lot this episode, likely because there wasn't that much going on. Okay, so just wanted to point that out to you. Teresa, your nail manicurist should be complimented.
I have an update, guys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Prostitution is considered a sex crime in New Jersey, and a conviction carries jail time and sex offender registry, which can follow you for the rest of your life.
Okay, so then my next question is being an escort and being a prostitute the same thing?
Let me look it up.
Is it legal
Escort versus
in any
prostitute.
of the tri-state area?
Right.
I'm looking up escort
'Cause
versus
she could live
prostitute.
in
Okay,
Jersey
thank you.
and run a prostitution ring in
And we have
New York.
definitely turned this into an episode of Law and Order.
So for anybody who wants to be a pimp, we're gonna call out your state.
We're gonna know in a second. Right.
But I did think it was pretty crazy, the rise that Kim still gets out of Teresa, man. Like, Teresa was flying out of her chair at her, and that's exactly what Kim wanted. And I'm like, Teresa, sit down and just pretend you don't care. I know it's so hard, but just I really wish Teresa would just get over Kim D.
No, I love it. I love this Teresa. I love, I don't like a calm Teresa. I like a fired up Teresa. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I feel like Kim D or Jacqueline, they're the only two, or Carolyn, they're the only people that can actually get a rise out of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like seeing that.
It was entertaining.
I
want her to
did.
throw a chair.
You
I
wanted
I
her
want
to
Teresa
throw
to
a
throw a
chair?
chair at Kim.
You heard Andy
Or
be like,
some
"Don't
wine."
stand up, Teresa," and then of course she's
Because he
standing.
knows
like
she's going
a
to go
good-
back to jail.
I know.
I'd like a good Tamara wine toss. That's what I would like to see. I thought it was interesting that, when Siggy was asked what she would do if Kim D said the same thing about Michael Campanella and how she would feel, and she went on this long, I would just be offended, yada yada yada. And so Melissa actually called her a hypocrite. How do we feel about that? Did y'all catch that moment?
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited about that because I'm like, but it doesn't really seem to matter because I don't think Siggy hears anybody but herself.
Yep. Completely agree with you.
And I think I just had that revelation.
Yeah. I think that Siggy thinks Siggy does no wrong. And I think that's her biggest downfall. And, maybe she said it takes a while to sink in, but it's taken a long episode for anything to sink in for her. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it'll
She's
sink in.
celebrating on Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She was so excited that she's not part of this cast no more.
Yeah. And Kevin had her on the Tomorrow Show.
You know what? I
Yes,
saw
he did.
that online somewhere. So you guys might want to check that out if you haven't already because she was talking a lot of I know one of the things that she said was that she didn't believe the relationship with Teresa and Danielle was genuine. She didn't believe it. What do you guys think?
You can call it what you want, but at the end of the day, that's not your friendship to call. So unless you're in their shoes, you don't know what's really going on.
Before Kim D exits, Teresa's like, "Hello, what about Danielle?"
I love that.
I did too. She's like, "Andy!" She yelled at Andy.
What did we think of this whole situation between Kim D and Danielle? In this situation, I think Kim D made sense to me because they were showing the footage.
Yep.
She did she did go after Teresa to try to stop her. I think at that point in time, I don't think that Kim D was as big of a troublemaker as she
Is now. Yeah. The thing that I see is nobody cares what Danielle says. Nobody listens to Danielle. So whether Danielle's right or wrong or however she feels, no one cares. And she's dismissed by every single, it's just the craziest thing. Like Dolores, nobody cares. So Kim D gave 0 Fs.
We move on to the Siggy package, and Michael Campanella's brought up, and the idea that she needs to balance work with her home life is brought up. And interestingly enough, she expresses that she chose Michael over work.
I don't like that.
Mm.
Not at all. Not one bit. I don't think you should ever choose. That's her boyfriend, right?
I think they're married, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're married.
Are they married?
I think they're married.
And regardless, you should never choose your career and what you worked hard for, or your spouse over your career. And then you're going to brag about it. Like, Michael's happy that I chose Michael over work. Who wouldn't be happy that you chose your spouse over work? Number one. Number two, is Michael paying all your bills? Is Michael buying you a Michael Kors purse or a Hermes bag? No, I don't like that. It's a form of controlment, and I think that it's distasteful as a person.
What do you think about him just asking her to slow down a little bit?
I don't like that either.
No?
No, when your career's on the up and up, that would be like, you're with someone, right? Mm-hmm. Not to put you on blast, sorry. But you have the book going.
You just outed her.
So you have but she has the book going. When the book is on the up
Lost
and
100
up,
followers.
no, but when your book's on the up and up, the last thing you want you to do is your co-partner, your spouse or whatever, to pull you back from that. You
Yeah.
want to excel when the getting's good because that's when the money pot's going.
Right.
You don't want to back down from that. You want to take it on full force until it's gone.
Right.
And I feel like he pulls her away from that.
Yeah.
Unless she's in a state of stress,
Right, mental.
and under duress and complaining about it, I feel like that's the only reason he should be telling her to slow down. But if, I'm thinking to myself, if she has a book coming out or if she wants to go speak to women and help women, like that's something that's admirable. I mean, she's not out there doing something that is positioning her to even be around any other men. She's around a bunch of women who she's motivating and inspiring. I think that's amazing.
Right.
I think any man who's married, to a woman like that should be excited that that's what his wife does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't.
I'm
I
not
don't deal with that well. It was brought up that, Siggy is trying to empower women to, love themselves, but she had plastic surgeons at her retreat. And, Melissa was asked, I don't know if she was asked, but she inserted her opinion about, yeah, I mean, it's okay if they can afford it. And Siggy's response was, well, everybody has a credit card. Like, how out of touch was that? Like, was that just me? I drew a square around that because I was like, that's so irresponsible.
That was the stupidest thing she said, I think, this entire season. Like, encouraging girls to go into debt to get plastic surgery. Like, who's listening to her? Who's at these conferences that is taking her advice?
Dolores.
I can't with her. Like, everything
Because
she says.
Dolores said that her advice has changed my life.
God, Dolores, it's gotten you far.
Listen, whatever it was, Dolores obviously took that advice because she mentioned in the last episode of the reunion that she'd had her lips done. And actually, I was looking at those too because, again, there wasn't a lot going on. They were really done.
Yeah.
I was looking at the packages, comparing them like to when she was like just no makeup or anything like that and just chilling to that night or that reunion day. And I'm like, oh my God, like they are huge.
Yeah, her lips were big.
I noticed the little things. And we learned that Marge is being sued for $9.4 million.
That's a lot of money. Well, to you, not a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
She didn't seem that concerned about it.
She wasn't. So Marge must be bossing up.
Yes, Doris's lip.
Those are the ducks.
They are.
Where is she looking?
I don't know, but they look they're actually magnificently done.
Yeah, they're done well. Kylie needs to get a note from her.
I think they looked a little big today, though, in person.
Didn't they,
Don't
though?
you
They
think?
looked
yeah,
like...
they looked a little.
They fit her face,
I
though.
really thought
Yeah,
that they
that's
were
true.
about to jump
They
off
do
of
fit
her
her
face
face.
today.
They fit her. I mean, she has a puffy, her cheeks. Has a very
Her cheekbones
full
are very
face.
big,
Yeah.
So it worked,
Yeah.
but
Just noticing aesthetics. People.
Why
Just
is
notice-
it so zoomed in?
Can you zoom in bigger? No.
Guys, I tried. I really did.
Shout out
that's as
to
far as it'll let
Dolores
me go.
and whoever is doing her Restylane.
Done well.
We go into a package about, the family and stuff, and this is where I kind of, I got a little bored. The major question here was, is Marge Sr. gonna get with Teresa's dad? It's never gonna happen.
No.
Never gonna
it was
happen.
such a
people.
weird, almost insensitive question to
It
ask. I felt.
was. And then, we catch up a little bit on what's happened with Dina after, the burglary and all that, which was very sad to hear. Interestingly enough, I would love for Dina to come back to the franchise.
Yeah.
I just think that this whole mix will be very interesting now, with her included and with Siggy leaving. And I personally, what are your thoughts on this? Because we kind of discussed it last week. We all know now that Siggy is leaving because she's announced it repeatedly. But do you think that she should have left? Or do you think that she probably just needs to be off the show?
I think that I didn't like who Siggy played on the show.
Yeah.
I didn't like her character on the show. But she was very entertaining. I mean, 90% of the drama revolved around her.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how they're gonna kind of stir that up for next season. But if I was her, I probably would have left too. If I don't think this was doing anything for her brand. Let's be honest. I don't think this was doing anything for her brand or who she says she is or who she says she wants to be. I think it was doing the exact opposite.
Absolutely. Well, while you're talking about that, it's interesting because we're hearing, or at least there's rumblings online that producers are casting already for the next season, and that the women, in case anybody's watching and maybe you have your eyes on being a cast member, that they're looking for people in Bergen County, New Jersey. And then there's also the rumor that producers are considering bringing back Caroline and Jacqueline. And I think we talked a little bit about that last week. What are your thoughts on that?
From what I know, Teresa will not film with Jacqueline. From what I know.
Well, I read 3 names. I read Kathy, Jacqueline, and Caroline.
Kathy won't come back either. So if anybody will come back, it'll be Caroline.
Would Caroline even come back? Would Caroline and Jacqueline even come back?
From what I read online, I think this was on realityt.com, Caroline said that she would consider it. It's not a definite no, it's not a definite yes. She would consider it. I just feel like at this point in time, it might be, at first I thought it might be awkward, but then I realized that Caroline actually has a relationship, a long-term relationship with Dolores. So, you know, I don't know.
Maybe they'll get Ramona since
since she's phoning in.
her and Melissa are
That
so
would be
close.
crazy. Something to look out for. I'm sure we'll get some dirt on that in the next couple of months.
Yeah.
We get an update on Frank and Dolores, and I still don't know where they are, really, honestly. I feel like the answers that she gave to the questions about her relationship with him just seemed very vague to me. So I really wasn't quite clear. And then she's apparently still with David. I don't know.
Here's the thing with David. I'm thinking what happens when they get together is it's a good time and they enjoy each other's company and they really do care about each other and she really does love him. But she's torn at the fact that they're in 2 different places probably. And she's over here in the reality scene and he wants to just remain a doctor. He doesn't want to be part of all this mess because he doesn't want his career tainted.
Right.
If anything, you know, it could get better, but it could also tank really quickly if someone badmouths him or one wrong injection or whatever goes wrong. So she probably doesn't know how to sever that relationship without hurting him and without hurting herself because she knows at the end of the day getting back with Senior isn't going to do anything for her. Although he says that he didn't appreciate her at the time, like, habits really, they change, but not really. You know, you're still the same person you are, and it's really hard to get past her, and I believe that they're at a good place now, so why go and recast shadows that can bring up old memories in her mind?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. It's interesting to me.
I feel like something has to be going on if they're in the same house and there's no kids there.
Well, like Dina said, if you can get the pipes clean, you might as well do it from the person that you already had it done from. That was from Dina. Because she's not with her man no more.
Oof.
So she said that before the fiance.
Is it? I can't tell. Is it Quinita? Gamble says
yes.
Yeah.
That's who they should cast is Frank Sr.'s girlfriend. Now that would be interesting. And you know what? I think she'd probably just conveniently be a friend of Danielle's. I have no idea why. I just feel like she would be. I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know. Speaking of Danielle, do we think, as Siggy and Dolores do, that Margaret and Danielle were actually trying to take Melissa and Teresa away from them?
No.
No.
Not to sway you with the rolling of my eyes or anything like that, but this was actually brought up by Andy because apparently Dolores and Siggy said it, but suddenly couldn't remember that they said it.
Right.
Go figure.
Right.
Then we get a little bit of Dolores versus Danielle. Okay. In this situation, Dolores lost points for me because I feel like she recanted on the drugs allegation. I think that if you're gonna claim someone is on drugs or something, as she stated, that you either have to go really hard with that or just say, you know what, I was wrong about that. So I just felt like she lost points for that, like that whole situation, because she kind of like backpedaled on that.
Yeah.
I wasn't amused. I really wasn't amused by that. Because I felt like Danielle, as she typically does, calmly states her case.
Right.
I don't know. Do we believe that she actually said that Dolores said those things about Teresa? Because the situation was kind of clarified in a sense tonight. Do we believe that she said it or
Yes.
not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I believe that she said it too.
Yeah.
I honestly, and I love you, Dolores, but I feel like you said it.
You know what if I had any doubt in my mind, the turning point for me was when she was like, I thought you were going to be mad that I told her that you'd said it, not that you were going to deny saying it altogether. And when she said that, like when Danielle said that to Dolores, I'm like, oh, Yeah, she definitely said it.
Yep.
She's like, I didn't even think you'd deny it. That was never a thing in my head. I thought you'd be mad that I told Teresa you said it.
But Danielle came in with it because I don't know if you had joined us yet on the panel, but we had spoke about this because we said Teresa had said in her own confessional that all she was worried about was money right now because she was a sole provider. So if Dolores is giving Danielle the down low and say Teresa's just worried about money right now because she's a sole provider, and Danielle took it out of context and then told Teresa, she did stir the bar out, like we all know she does.
Right, absolutely.
But Dolores should have just confirmed, like, no, I was giving the complete rundown, and what I meant by that is that you're the sole provider and that's all you can do right now.
Right, agreed.
So you have your book deal.
Right. I definitely agree that Danielle knew what she was doing, but she thought that Dolores was going to be wrong for a different reason than she was, or be upset.
Yeah, it just, to me, the whole situation made Dolores look bad in my eyes, but I feel like we are clever viewers. You know what I'm saying? Clever enough to put that together, like how that might have went down behind the scenes. And even when Danielle brought it up, I believed it. I believed what she said. I don't know how Dolores said it, but I believe it happened.
Yeah.
Because it seems so out of the blue and random to be made up.
Right.
Like, why would she just single her out all of a sudden? She had no reason to do that, particularly if her son had come over to her house.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, I can't see the agenda there. They went to a break, and I was, like, fascinated by whatever it was that Siggy was drinking out of the little, it looked like NyQuil. Like, did you guys see that?
You saw everything.
I was like, listen, I saw it. I was like, what is that? Because she took out the little NyQuil cap and everything, and she took a swig.
Well, you guys didn't catch.
And she made the NyQuil face.
She looked sick. She looked and sounded sick. You guys didn't catch that? She was
maybe
off.
Okay, so maybe she was taking some like
NyQuil to the head though. That's like a little.
I saw
aggressive.
it. I know what I saw.
That's a little. I believe you.
She did it.
I believe you.
I'm not Danielle in this situation.
She wasn't the normal Siggy.
Oh,
she
see,
was definitely
Olga saw it too. I thought it was a whiskey flash.
She was having some scissor. That's what she was having.
She's like,
that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like.
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm sorry. And if you guys who are listening or wonder why we were pausing, we're just reading the comments in the live chat. So for anybody who's listening later, go back to YouTube and you can see all the comments that we're referring to. Okay. The only thing that I didn't like about Danielle's dramatic walk-off was that she called Dolores a fat bully. I'm never for calling anyone fat.
Yeah.
I'm really not. Like, you can call yourself fat. I don't even like to hear that really, but you can't call somebody else fat.
But my favorite thing with you was that, like, they were called whores, skanks, I swear. And then, like, all these names, and then they say fat, and he's like,
I was like, you know, in my mind, I was like, that's just low.
I hear you.
That is the lowest of the low.
It was just really funny.
Because you hear skank and bitch all the time.
Right.
It just rolls off of everyone's tongue.
Yeah.
But fat is just like, you just...
Those other things are accusations.
Right. You just crippled someone for life.
Yeah. No, it actually is more like of a insecurity that you could hit with someone, a trigger, than calling them a skank.
You just set me back 6 months. And now I gotta, like, you know what I'm saying? You call me fat, now I'm gonna be depressed for about a week. Because I'm gonna feel like the work I've been doing is not working. And I'm gonna eat, so I'm gonna get fatter. And then I'm gonna have to work out for 6 more months to feel like I actually achieved something. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, in Danielle's defense, she did get called a scumbag.
I mean, yeah, but I just didn't like it.
He just does not like the
I
word
don't
fat.
like that word.
So, but I mean, I get you. The other things that they say on the show are accusations, but like calling someone fat is it's kind of like a statement of like the actual human form of being.
Right, like, you know, and she has stated that, you know, she's working out.
Yeah, she obviously has
had
weight
some type of
issues.
stomach procedure or something like that. And, you know, she said that Frank gets her up in the mornings to work out because she's gained weight. So obviously she knows it's an issue. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that's why I'm like, you can talk about calling somebody a scumbag is really judging what you do.
Yeah.
Really. But calling someone fat, that's who you are.
But if they called Melissa fat, none of us would have
Like,
even
nobody would
batted
believe
an eye.
that.
Right.
But
But
Dolores is a
She's
curvy
she's definitely
woman.
not fat, but it's
She's
definitely an
voluptuous.
insecurity. It's definitely an insecurity
Yeah,
they're hitting on with
and
her.
I personally think she looks amazing.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so when we come back from the break, we get down to the whole anti-Semitic controversy that happened while the girls were in Italy. And, you know, for as much as everyone in the room, including the cameraman, tried to reason with Siggy that this was the wrong thing to do, and finally when Andy had, per her request apparently, you know, said he talked to his family, and even he was like, he didn't, like, he wasn't offended by the whole Hitler comment. And to me, this is when I wrote down, oh, this is the moment that Siggy probably got fired, because this is when she tells everybody in the room she doesn't really give a about what they think.
I said the same thing. I said, that's why you got fired.
And I was, in my mind, I was like, you don't do that to the boss.
Yeah.
Like, really, particularly if you asked him to chime in with his opinion.
That'd be like if Kim told Ryan Seacrest to F off. There goes the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she becomes so unhinged that she loses touch with reality.
I kind of love it.
She has no argument. Andy's like, I called my parents and asked my parents, and she said, I don't care. I don't care. We know you don't care. You have nothing else to say. Like, you have nothing to back up that's legitimate.
Exactly.
Like, it's just, you know, your dad wasn't offended after you explained half of the story.
But did you guys catch towards the end when Andy handed her the cake? And he was like, the only thing I've been happy to give you all season. I got that loud and clear. I was like, besides a pink slip, because you're fired. But some cake on top of that, he's probably like, and you're on your way.
And honestly, as much as I did like Siggy as an addition because she was bad shit, I do feel like, you know, the franchise can move on without her.
Oh, yeah. There's going to have to find some more interesting people. Like, everyone just, you know, Teresa's kind of getting a little tired, and so is Melissa. I love them, and I hope they stay on, but they're a little stale. Yeah, they had their big shining moments.
And I feel like in order for them to get something back, you would almost either have to bring in somebody really dynamic and fresh, or somebody old.
Yeah.
Who can call it like they see it. You know what I mean? And the only person that really, to me, that could possibly go toe-to-toe with Teresa is Caroline.
Yeah.
That's the only person in my book.
Yeah, they're still at each other's necks.
Yeah, I mean, because Carolyn let her have it for 2 seasons straight. 2 seasons straight. So it will be interesting to see that dynamic, you know, because I feel like Teresa's gained popularity. So all of the girls kind of like bow down to her versus Caroline, and I feel like they did that to Caroline in the beginning.
That's a really good point.
Well, remember, Teresa's holding all the cards right now because they waited to film this season until she got out. That was what? That was over a year.
Yeah.
So you waited almost a full year, or almost 2 full years in order to start the next season.
Yeah. Because who else was
she
gonna?
holds the cards.
Melissa's not Queen Bee. Like,
she's not.
Who else would it be?
And Teresa wasn't gonna let it happen.
Right. So you're right, Caroline, and like, I mean, bringing back, I guess.
It would be interesting because Caroline doesn't like Danielle. Caroline doesn't like Teresa. But Melissa probably doesn't have an issue with Caroline. But Teresa's going to make Melissa have a problem with Caroline. And Caroline is good with Dolores.
Dolores is going to be in the middle again.
Yeah. I think, if anything, the next season's plot would come down to Teresa questioning all her friendships and being lost and confused in days as she normally is. And trying to figure out where her loyalties lie.
And I would love to see it again because I think that when Carolyn was actually on the show, since this show is so heavily rooted in family, it would be interesting to see that her family dynamic again. You know what I'm saying? I'd like them, that whole family unit. I feel like if you're going to bring in a woman who can come into the show, kind of similar to the way they did Margaret, if they brought in anybody new, they have to come in with a family that's equally as entertaining as, you know, Kathy's family was more entertaining than she was, which ended up being her downfall to me.
I love Kathy's family.
You know, I just feel like
Richie's
Kathy
hilarious.
didn't really add that much.
I agree with that.
To the mix as much as maybe Rosie did.
Yeah.
Rosie's the bomb.
You know, so I feel like whoever it is, they have to be really dynamic. And yeah, I mean, I love the nice touch at the end with the cake. I thought that was fitting. I'm so glad. I feel like if there was one storyline to be wrapped up, that was it, and I was very happy and excited about that.
But was the bottom part still plastic? I'm so curious
I
to know
know,
this.
right?
I don't know, but he cut that cake so fast.
Daddy cut the cake.
He cut it fast.
Yeah, because he wanted to get Dolores on her way. I mean, Siggy on her way. He wanted to hand her a pink slip.
Well, guys, what are we gonna rate this season overall? Give it on a scale of 1 to 10, and I want you guys to do the same. What are we rating this season on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being the highest and 1 being not so high compared to other seasons of this show.
I'm gonna give it probably a hard 6. I was gonna say 7, but I wasn't even there.
Okay.
So I'd say 6.
Okay. And what are your thoughts?
I was going to say 6 too.
Oh, God.
It's just, no,
The
didn't do
panel
anything.
is tough. I was going to give it an 8. The reason,
What?
Let me tell you why I would give it an 8. And I'm comparing it to itself. Like, not any other franchise.
Okay.
So note that.
Okay.
Because it would be lower
All right.
if I was comparing it to other franchises. But I just felt like it was kind of a bounce back. I feel like they're slowly but steadily bouncing back from that season where it was half the new cast and we didn't really know those twins and those people. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like they're trying to get back to something.
Well, that was very nice of you.
Yeah, you know.
That was a very nice.
And they brought Danielle back. I was excited about it, although she didn't really contribute that much, but it was nice for you to be around. That is really it for season 8 of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Thank you guys for tuning in and week after week commenting and spilling the tea with us. We loved having you guys here. I'm one of your hosts at DJ Richie Skye. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ Richie Skye. Where can they find you guys?
And I'm Traci Propst. You can find me on Instagram at Traci Propst. Take care, you guys.
And I'm Russell Ray. You can find me at Russell Ray Silva. And immediately after this, with the assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story AFTERBUZZ.
Be sure
Yeah,
to
he
tune
said
in.
it was good. He said it was good.
Excellent.
You guys tune in, and we will see you for season, 9? Hopefully.
Season 9.
See you guys later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.